two most important thing what we in a gaming industry looks forward is in India, people can name Ludo in a different way, but they know how to play Ludo. So we have seen our tutorial completion rate is only, we have taken like Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. So context of the UI is we are coming from that perspective that a 60-year-old can read it. India being seen a biggest potential market for the Western developers for the Chinese developers. We are doing a lot of things. Our organic audience is 70%, but 30% we are acquiring users. I think this is the most asked question to us.
Yeah.
We have collaborated with South Indian superstars also.
Oh, wow. Welcome everyone to Behind the Feature. I'm super excited today because I've been working in the gaming space for the last 3 years and I have Abhishek Agarwal, who is the head of product and growth at Gametion Technologies. If you do not know Gametion, you definitely know Ludo King. It is the game that has captured the hearts of millions of Indians with a simple core gameplay and just innovative features. Today, in this episode, we're actually going to talk to Abhishek about innovative features that they have launched to actually propel this particular game to new heights within India. If you have seen the recent Nikhil Kamat's episode, the one game that kept coming out on the names of everybody in the episode was Ludo King. So you can imagine the excitement that I have to have Abhishek here with me. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for taking out time and coming on to Behind the Feature.
Thank you very much, Diksha, and thank you for the wonderful introduction of Gametion and me. And I think lots of people know about Ludo King, but heard about Gametion. So thank you for the wonderful introduction again.
Giving, for everyone who doesn't know Abhishek, he is a pioneer in the gaming product world. He's worked with Reliance Games, Nazara Games, and today he actually heads product and growth at Gametion Technologies. Can you share a bit about your journey and what has got you attracted, to a world of gaming, which is not, it's not one of those standard careers that people have in India. So you've been on this journey for what, 13 years now?
Yes, it's almost 13 years now. I'm an engineer by profession. So I started my career as an electronic engineer. I joined Samsung Technologies way before, back in 2011-12. And I thought that this is not what I wanted to do for the whole of my life. And I started seeing, I recently bought iPhone 3GS, which is a second-hand phone because it is not easily available in India. And I started playing few games on that. And I think I wanted to know how these games are built. I wanted to work in this particular industry. I started learning a lot from the people working there. They are evolving, so I evolved with them. And then after working with them for 3 years, I joined Nazara as a producer. In that company, they have given me open hand to work as a producer and a product manager. They given me a product and say, hey, works on this particular numbers and bring this game up. So from there, I got interested in numbers, and I believe that any product manager working in a gaming company, if you are good with numbers, you can build a good product, but you cannot love your audience. You cannot make your audience love the product, because in the end, product is a piece of art. It's because always we compare gaming companies as with the entertainment industry, like movies and everything. But in the end, audience is the king, like Ludo King, sorry.
So now that I have you, the one question I definitely want to ask you is, if I want to apply for PM or a product manager or even a game designer role in Gametion, what are the top 3 skills or sets you look at, Abhishek, when you're hiring in your team?
I think the number one skill is they should be good with numbers. That is a screening part. Because you are applying for a product manager role, you must be, and you are good at numbers. That's why you're applying. The two most important thing what we in a gaming industry looks forward is you need to be a gamer. You have that love or passion for the games.
Okay.
Because every time I interview someone for the gaming PM role or designer role, I always ask them, what games do you play right now? And which game you are playing. And we question a lot on that particular game, which they are playing or they love to play. That show their perspective and their knowledge of the game design, their level of understanding the game, how the games are made,
right,
what needs to be done. So without breaking the retentions, engagements, how they can increase the monetization of the particular game they are playing. So they need to be a gamer.
Right.
How the games work. So that is the second criteria. And the third most important criteria is you never want to give up in what you are doing. So there is never a situation that something we are rolled out becomes successful. So you need to do a lot of A/B testing for that. And so never give up attitude should be there in that particular individual who is applying for the product manager role.
The one thing that's been on my mind is you've been a producer
Yes.
And you are also a product head now.
Yes.
What is the key difference between a producer and a product head?
Okay, so when you say producers, so I started with as a QA guy in the industry, and it's taken me 10 years to reach where I am right now. So a producer or a QA or a product manager needs to know everything about gaming, but the core role changes. So the producers handle the project. They're kind of a project managers in IT. What producers do, they handle the project timelines, when the project will goes, and what are the resources they need for their particular project. A product manager's core responsibility is to take care of the engagement and the monetization and the roadmap of the particular product, where the product will go, how it will go, what we will be targeting for the next quarter or year.
And if you had to give top three growth strategies that have worked for you at Ludo, which you have implemented, what would those top?
The first and the most important is always listen to your users. Go through your user feedback on reviews and check your Google ratings, where they are going, what user wants. Do a lot of A/B testing if you're launching a new feature. Just don't roll out to the full 100% audience what you're launching for the users. And if I want to say the third thing is like go slow on everything. People tends to take their time. The convergence happens in casual gaming at a very slow rate. So if you're spending
So be patient.
Yes, spending $1 or $10 to acquire a user. Be patient that ROS will come on. Return on ad spends, it will come. It is different for different gaming genre. For some developers it comes on day 3. For some developers it comes on day 365. So it's a waiting journey. But you have to understand that what game you are making, what your genre benchmarks are, and you need to be patient if you're building.
I know that Gametion has a lot of popular games that you have. You all have Carom and all, but the game today that I want to focus and chat about is Ludo King. Ludo King is played by everybody from my mom to, to the kids, and everyone's one of the most loved games. You have over 1 billion downloads. This is a remarkable number by no mean feat. What are some of the things that you all have done to actually acquire users at such a large scale?
Thank you for mentioning that, Diksha. Again, 1 billion downloads. It seems like a fairy tale story to us that we have reached that milestone, and we are the India's only game to reach that particular milestone, to have 1 billion downloads just on Google Play Store. 70% of this audience is organic for us.
Okay, so not by paid marketing when you say organic. Like
Yes.
not gone and actively paid and got them.
Yes. So we do a lot of paid acquisition also, but 70% of these audience comes organically. People love Ludo King, and they treat this game as like the first thing they wanted to do when they got a phone is, as you mentioned, your mom wants to play this game, your father wants to play a game, your grandmother wants to play this game. And the beauty of this game is it's very simple. Anyone can play. So we say people who are playing our game is not the gamers, they're the players. And so because you need not to have any skill for playing Ludo King. Ludo King is so simple. Your grandfather with your grandkid can play Ludo King. And that's the beauty of this game.
So, having said this, at the end of the day, as you said, it's a simple core game mechanic. I need to reach the finish line first. It's as simple as that. But you all have introduced a lot of innovative features. Can you share some of these innovative features with us?
Definitely. So, Diksha, in the end of the day, we are a company. We wanted to make money out of it. If 1 billion people start paying, we'll be $1 billion company, but that doesn't happen because we are tackling tier 4, tier 3, tier 2 markets also.
Right.
It's being played in countries like Papua Ghana also, where the reach of internet is not there. Even like it's a small African country. It's been played in remote parts of Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh. So it's been played all over India. The first feature which we include in during the COVID times is voice chat in the game. This is a feature which a lot of people asked with us. The new generation asked. They wanted to play with their friends, their girlfriends, with their family. They're living far away.
Yeah.
And what they were doing, like they are opening another app in the background and they are playing Ludo King on the top of that. So they asked us, like, can you do something in Ludo King only because we don't have high-end mobile phones. We don't have high-end devices which can handle these type of two multitasking at once. So we introduced this feature called voice chat in the game.
Okay.
And while doing voice chat by your 4 friends or 6 friends, you can chat simultaneously and you can play in the game.
So I think this is very similar to a lot of RMG games. Can I say that? Because you when you're tending to play these shooting games, you're actually trying to talk to people. So is that where your inspiration came from for a feature like this, or was this actually purely usage?
I think back in 2020, I think RMG was not that
That
big.
big.
So everyone wants to connect with their family, they, like confined in their particular space. Back then, the users connected with us, and the community wants us to come with that particular feature where they can create certain rooms and they can play with their friends.
Right. My question to you is you've introduced quite a few innovative features, when I'm also playing. There's so many cool stuff. There's snakes and ladders also now within Ludo King. How do you strike this balance between core gameplay and then the innovative features that you introduce?
We want users to stick to the core gameplay and then fly out to the meta gameplay.
Can you first explain what do you mean by meta gameplay? These are big words.
Okay, so the core gameplay is the major gameplay we want user to play, which is the classic Ludo game. They play the game, they earn the coins, and then they use these coins to do different things in the games, like to have their themes, the dices, the tokens. They can use these games in the mini games, and they have their meta games like seasons. We have a season introduced in the games. Coming on to the balance part, once you install the Ludo King game, we give you fair tutorial about how the Ludo is being played.
Okay.
A classic Ludo game. Then you can skip the tutorial, and we will tell user, let's play a classic game first and then explore what you wanted to explore.
Okay.
Because Ludo and cricket in India need not to be taught. No one wants us to teach them, hey, this is how you play Ludo.
Yeah.
It's for the Western markets.
Yeah.
In India, people can name Ludo in a different way, but they know how to play Ludo. So we have seen our tutorial completion rate is only 10% because everyone skips the tutorial and they go out and play. Yes. So there are lots of modes in the game, but we have seen 90% of the traction comes from the classic mode only, which is classic Ludo game. But this 10%, because we are a billion downloaded game and we have a huge audience. So this 10% is where we earn a lot. In terms of when user try different modes, they wanted to explore. The generation which wanted to explore the Ludo game and they don't have 30 minutes because the session time of a particular classic games go up to a 30 minute, a normal 2-player game. We have seen with the reels now, with TikToks and
Their
everything.
attention span is super low.
Super low. With the voice chat and the chatting features, we have solved one problem that we want them to play this particular game because they can connect. The one social aspect is being solved, but the other problem which we are facing is we want something new for them. So we introduced a new game mode called Quick Mode. The first person to take one token inside the game after killing one token will win the game. With Quick Mode, in Classic, you have to take all the 4 tokens inside the home to win the game. The first one to take all the 4 tokens inside will win the game. But with Quick Mode, your one token is already outside on the board. You just have to roll the dice and
take it home.
Take it home. But the catch is you have to first kill one token of the opponent to make your way inside the home. So this is something we have seen this particular game mode has a very short span of time because you have to take one token inside, and it's quite popular with the new generation.
Okay.
So with new features, we wanted to strike that balance of free to play and with little bit of freemium versions, like you can pay and who wanted to explore more. We wanted to play higher lobbies who are core gamers, not just the players who wanted to connect socially. So these are the new features we keep on trying. Quick Mode 1 was one example. Second example is a 6-player match.
Okay.
So traditionally we have seen only 4-player matches in Ludo King, and people come back to us saying like we are a group of 6 people, we wanted to play. So we innovated a new board for 6-player people and matches, and now people can play up to 6 players on the same board at the same time. And this particular innovation is being praised a lot because 6 players playing a game for around a 60-minute or 65-minute session.
My God.
And it's being played. Ludo King has this average session time of 20 to 25 minutes, which is a lot
Which is quite high.
Yes. So we don't ask any user to play any particular mode. We just give these modes to users. They explore it by themselves, but we unlock these features at certain levels. So,
after you've engaged in the game for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Abhishek, the thing that you mentioned, right? Your users are from a kid to a grandparent. So one is the user demographic. Second is in terms of where they are playing from, right? You have people who are playing in the east of India and then they are playing in the north. So you have such a diverse user base. What are some of the aspects that you have localized to be able to cater to such a diverse user audience?
We focus a lot on localization again, like localization in terms of not just the language. We are also localizing in terms of what user can share or the kind of avatars we are making. They are also localized.
Okay.
So I want to start with the language first. As I mentioned, it's not just about the language, but we are going after the language. Also, we have localized our game in 15 languages and a lot more to come.
Okay.
Out of 15 languages, 7 to 8 languages we have tapped from India, the regional languages. We have taken like Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. And once a user install from this particular part of the region, we just ask him to select that particular language he wants to, and he can see the game in terms of the rule, every rule of the game in that his particular language.
Okay.
And that's where we started like focusing more on localization. Now, user who is from you can say Bangladesh, South India, or from Indonesia. Now, once they are inside the game, they wanted to play with their peers in online multiplayer also. So the kind of matchmaking we are also doing is like focusing more towards the regional matchmaking, then going national, then going international. So that's also one feedback which we have gotten like from a lot of users. We wanted to chat with the users, online users, but we can't understand the language.
Oh, wow.
And that's where we came across this feature called pre-text messages. And we have kept these pre-text messages in English. So these pre-text messages, when they are in English, but they are very simple English, like hi, hello, no time, running low, one time, bye-bye. So we have seen that these are the messages which are grammatically not correct also, but they can be read by any person.
So the insights that you got to actually put these pretexts is, did you see these were the most used text messages and then you actually started inputting? Like how did you come up with the pretext?
So it's been around 10 years, Ludo King is around, and we are evolving with time. So it's like a lot of user feedback which comes upon. So I just wanted to give an example. So when you wanted to abuse a user, like abuse, or you wanted to give it out to your user,
Yeah.
you wanted to give it in your language or you know. So with the pretext messages, we have a pretext message which is defined like hash 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 hash. hash. So this hash 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 means like you are giving it out to your user and the users understand that
Somebody's angry at the other
yes,
end. Okay.
because you have to like he have cut his token or the numbers are not coming
Right.
or he's not playing it that fast. So
Right.
you cannot abuse the user. You have the profanity filters in the game.
Yeah.
But this is something we have seen. This is the most used emoji or a pretext game in the game. User wanted to like take it out on the user. Why your numbers is not coming? Why are you cutting my token? So localizing is just not about text or language. It's about how your player from one part of the region can connect to the other part of the region.
Okay.
So this is how we are localizing our game by giving different avatars also. So we have a lot of avatars. We have an avatar of a female who is a cook, a pilot female, or when you say we have an avatar of a South Indian male.
So these avatars are what I choose when I start the game, right? As soon as I start,
Yes.
what is it that my profile want to be? So then you're giving people a way to actually feel more personalized to the game.
So we want you to choose the avatars. We never force users
Yeah.
to like. We never give them any avatars. It's a normal image. Once you have that power to choose your avatars to go and play a game.
Right.
During Diwali, we rolled out new dice.
I remember this.
It's a Diwali dice, and we have seen a lot of traction in the sense users are using that dice. User wants to purchase a particular dice. We have given out this particular dice in 70% of sale, and we have seen that this is the fastest selling dice. And same in case of Ramadan, we had a peace dice with an animation of something like a pigeon flying out of it.
Oh, wow.
So these are the dices which don't localize towards the content or like it's not focused just on the people. It focused on how you wanted to give your content out to people who wants it. We also rolled out a Republic Day dice and a 15th August dice.
Okay.
we name them very generic because Ramadan dice was called peace dice, Diwali dice was called a light dice. Other than the text, it's been localized in a way every person in the world or in a country like ours can connect and relate.
So at the end of the day, I mean, because I work with so many gaming developers and I see so many games, there are the global games which maintain, like, which are at the standard of UI, which is brilliant, right? With Ludo King, is there a conscious effort that your UI has, the way it is so simple and very connected? So can you share some of the insights on the UI perspective for Ludo King?
I think this is the most asked question to us
Yeah.
that why you are not revamping your UI. Nothing that we cannot do. We
Yes.
have few games which has a very good UI. You can. We had a new game called Ludo City also, which is a game which we have made for tier 1 markets. It's a very beautiful made game. But with Ludo King, we don't want user to forget what Ludo King is. It's like a brand now. Two insights what we have got from the market. As you mentioned also that we are making for India.
Correct.
And we are making the game for tier 4 markets also, not tier 3, just tier 4 exists in India. So their people doesn't understand too much of English. They don't know how to read also. Whether we localize these games in their particular language. We want the game to be that simple that in 3 clicks or 4 clicks, they are inside the game.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of our UI. The too big to read. That's the two insight which we have got from the users that in other games, the text is very not readable.
Yeah.
We have seen your grandparents cannot read like small text. We have seen our grandparents keep a phone like this and put on the numbers and dialing the numbers. So we have gone through this problem. We have gotten the feedback. Text in the games are very small. We want our text to be bigger. So once Vikas and me playing the game, Vikas always comes out with text बहुत छोटा है. It's very small to read out. Can you make the text bigger? Because my mom cannot read, will be able to read this particular text. So the context of the UI is we are coming from that perspective that a 60-year-old can read it. And from that perspective, a tier 4 auto driver or a tier 4 player who are unable to read can play this particular game. So the game is made in that way, where to go, what to select, and again it's a legacy game. So we want not to change the UI too much that user forgets what they are playing, because they connect with Ludo King. They have a connection within Ludo King like that. They want Ludo King icons to remain same. Once we try changing something and it doesn't work out with the users, we've done a lot of A/B testing with the UI also. We have seen that users are not comfortable changing our UI to making pretty new, and that's why our UI is so simple. Like you can see for the computer image, we have made a computer image. For the pass and play game, we have made 2 children sitting playing on the board, so very easily readable by the people. Oh, this means this particular mode where you can just sit and play together.
I think your insight is very similar. We had a UI UX principal designer. He came in and he said in India, the easiest thing is to design for the lowest common denominator. And in your case, like you said, it's the grandparent or somebody in a tier 4 city, and that's the lens through which you see.
Yes.
I want to come to monetization because that is a very big question, and it's extremely hard to monetize games in India. I mean, this is a challenge that a lot of gaming communities face. Ludo King has been able to figure out a successful monetization strategy. What I want you to share is, for an aspiring gaming developer, what would your advice be when they actually are trying to design a sustainable monetization model? And I would say for a casual game.
I just wanted to talk about Ludo King here. If you're making any game for India, like specific for Indian audience, and you wanted to monetize your game, just don't go out firing IAPs on them. It will never work.
First, you have to explain IAPs.
Sorry, I'll explain IAPs and other monetization terms which I'll say.
Okay.
So I'll be talking about IAPs and rewarded videos here. So IAPs is in-app purchases. Any transactions you do in your game for buying something in your game to progress, or for any in-app items, that is called IAPs.
So IPs are like the skins or the characters or the swords that we buy in different coins, gems, everything.
Yes, anything which helps you in the game to progress, or any cosmetic items.
Correct.
So that can be an IAP. You are stuck on a certain level and you want users to go out. You want users to skip that particular level. So he can do an IAP to purchase to skip that particular level. So once you're making a game for Indian audience, just as I mentioned before, just don't go all out guns blazing for IAPs.
Okay.
What audience you wanted to target? Is it a tier 1 audience, tier 2 audience, tier 3 or tier 4 audience? If you are making for the masses, I believe people in the masses don't wanted to do IAP right now. They first wanted to experience the game.
Okay.
And once you're giving them a good experience, you can try monetizing them first by showing them rewarded videos.
Okay.
Rewarded videos, I think it's an advertisement user willingly see to progress or to get certain items in the game. Then after your users, you have seen that users are getting converted in or through rewarded videos. Then slowly or gradually you introduce them with IAPs. And when you're building for the masses, we have seen that the conversions never can come with a $1 pack. Like it's still a too big amount for.
So even 80 rupees is
it's too much. Yes. So we have seen once we keep the price points for 10 rupees or a 9 rupees, then we have seen a lot of conversion happening because now India is growing as a developing market, and we have seen people in India are willing to pay 10 rupees to 9 rupees, and then gradually you can show them offers of a dollar or two or three.
Right.
And that is a strategy I want everyone to put on, like
Their games.
in their games. Like start with rewarded. If you are tackling the full market like a Indian audience, then go through the IAPs and with slow, like a lower SKUs pricing, like a 9 rupees and a 10 rupees pack, and then gradually increasing the price. Then because at that time your user is gradually learning, you have created a need for that particular user. So that's how you can monetize your game.
So if I had to summarize, your top tips are: one, do not go blazing guns with IAPs. Actually kickstart with rewarded videos. And the second big insight is the pricing. Totally believe that success is not limited to just because you as Ludo King had a first mover advantage, right? Yes, you did. But the fact that you have even today been able to maintain this success, there has to be a lot of innovation and deep market understanding that has gone behind this. And I think people don't necessarily appreciate that because today anyone can create a Ludo game, right? To be the Ludo King, there has been a lot of hard work that the team has done. What are some of the things that the Gametion team does to actually maintain the number one status?
I think it's too hard for us now in this particular market where a lot of funding is flowing in India.
Right.
India being seen biggest potential market for the Western developers for the Chinese developers. We are doing a lot of things. So as I mentioned, we are building for the people. If something is free in our game, user can just be able to play it for free. The second thing is what we have done with Ludo is we had made Ludo King. If you now search on Google Ludo, results will be coming with Ludo King.
Right.
Like we had made parlay G of biscuits and like noodles of Maggie, as what you say.
So
like,
you're synonymous with Ludo now.
Yes. For reaching that particular point, as I mentioned before at the very start, that our organic audience is 70%, but 30% we are acquiring users. So we are optimizing our user acquisition strategies.
Okay.
And we keep on acquiring users. Out of sight is out of mind. So we want users to never have to forget that Ludo exists and Ludo means Ludo King. So we keep on pushing with the inorganic channels also. Like we do a lot of advertisement also. Advertisement is also very localized in terms of play Ludo King, Ludo Khelo, Ludo Jeeto, and it's we localize in their regional languages. Like in Marathi, we also do ads, in Hindi, in Tamil, Telugu. So we never want Ludo be out of sight, and we have seen this works. Organic never goes down, but we wanted to always have to give a push of inorganic also. The second thing which we have done is with Ludo is we are building a community. How we are building this community is like we have a channel in YouTube called Ludo King Show.
Okay.
And we have a similar channel in YouTube called Ludo King Music. So I want to talk about both the channels. So the first channel is about Ludo King Show is we collaborate with the celebrities like Vidya Balan and big celebrities like Kartik Aaryan. They play Ludo King and we like stream this on Ludo King game.
Okay.
And people can love because people love seeing their superstars, and not just Vidya Balan or Kartik Aaryan. We have collaborated with South Indian superstars also.
Oh wow.
So these players come and play Ludo King on that particular channel. User loves to watch their game play by their superstars.
Yeah.
So this is one thing which we have done for the community because the community understand, hey, their superstars are playing Ludo King. Maybe Ludo King is so popular. So that is one thing which we have done. Second thing is we keep on making music out of Ludo King. So one of the song which we have made at the very start back in 2017-16 is with Mika Singh.
Okay.
We have made a song called Ludo King, number one hai Ludo King. It's a jingle, and this single is all around like we have seen our users watching this, singing this song, and sharing the videos with us on our Instagram channels, on our
Right.
YouTube channels, on Facebook channels. So we wanted to create this massive effect for the users. How, like, by creating the music for them, by bringing their superstars on the channel.
Yeah.
Other users say, "Hey, play Ludo King." You will see these things in Ludo King. Even we have different contexts going on social media channels where people can come, they can play with these superstars also. We have done in the past. We'll be bringing it on now again. So people can play, win not real money, certain vouchers, and they can be a superstar for a day because these are seen by billions of users playing Ludo King. We share their link in the game. So that's how a community is built. That's how Ludo King is always on the site and everyone's mind.
That's really interesting, and I think I love some of the things that the Gametion team is doing. Given, like you said, there's so much competition, I think the last question I do have for you is how is Gametion, if you can share some of the future plans for Gametion and what are some of the cool things you all are trying to do to stay ahead of the curve now?
So as Gametion, I think we are coming out with different titles also, not just the casual ones. We are working on few more titles,
Right.
which will be out by the end of this year.
Wow.
Fewer titles. We are also working on a Ludo, as I mentioned, Ludo game with a different meta of city building. It's called Ludo City game.
Okay.
It's targeted for tier 1 cities and countries. So where the core gameplay is Ludo and the meta is city building, which has not been done in the past, and it's already live in beta, and we are seeing that the numbers are very good. The retention numbers are very good. People are doing IAPs on that. We wanted to be in that particular genre of just boards and casual games. We are moving out. We are building some more titles, and which will be made for the world. People from every country can come and play that games, and we can monetize it better.
Thanks, Abhishek. This has been fantastic. We've got some great insights from you, and I can't wait to see what are the next games that are coming from the Gametion studio.
Yes, hopefully we'll be giving our next hit like Ludo King.